The 54-hour water disruption in Johannesburg has come and gone, but some areas are still without water. Now, communities in other provinces also have water supply issues, like in Ntuzuma in KwaZulu Natal. Water and Sanitation Department maintains there's no water crisis in the country, but what are residents saying? Well, eNCA's reporters are visiting affected areas. Silindelo Masikane is in Johannesburg and Dasen Thathiah is in Durban. Silindelo, perhaps to start with you, good afternoon. What's the situation looking like here in Johannesburg?
Well, look, Mfundo, most parts of Johannesburg do have water, and this is after a 54-hour maintenance upgrades that happened over the past couple of days during the week, Monday to Wednesday to be exact. And during those days, many residents did not report water shortages or water cuts. The issue actually began after the maintenance operations, where many residents started experiencing no water in their taps, and one of those areas is Winchester Hills. It's supplied by the Crown Gardens Reservoir, and from what we understand this afternoon is that many residents that are supplied by this reservoir have been restored with water. However, areas like Winchester Hills are still struggling and still have their taps running dry. I'm joined by one of those residents, that is Mrs. Susan Boysen. Thank you so much for your time. We spoke this morning. You didn't have water. It was quite frustrating. Many of the community members did come out. And still at this point, it's 3 o'clock and your area seemingly still doesn't have water. What's the communication?
Well, at the moment, we've been advised that some areas near us are operational with water. Yeah. The problem with our area seems to be airlocks. Yeah. So I know there's an airlock down at the end here that is a problem. So we're hoping that Joburg Water will come out and release the airlocks. Yeah. But we always seem to be the last to receive water whenever there's a water outage. This isn't the first time it's happened in our area. Since July, we've had ongoing water issues. Every week we're without water. We've gone 2 spells with 5 to 6 days without water, and we're always the last to come back on.
How frustrating it is, what your family needs to do to be able to supply yourselves with water. It can't be easy.
No, it can't be easy. It isn't easy. I mean, we've actually just come back now from my in-laws to go and shower, but during the week I've actually taken the girls to my parents in London to go and shower after school. And it's washing, it's backwards and forwards, and it's not an easy thing at all.
Yeah. If you could speak to those in authority, those officials at Joburg Water, at Rand Water, what would you say?
Maintenance. I mean, it's maintenance is a big issue here. Keeping things maintained and making sure that we don't have all these water problems, you know. And as I said, this is not the first time that this has happened, and our area seems to be always hit for some reason.
All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Oosthuizen. That is Miss Susan Oosthuizen here in Winchester Hills, one of the areas that are still awaiting the water supply to be returned to the area.
Very difficult situation to be living under if they're saying it's a constant issue. But have you managed to engage Rand Water, and what was their response to some of these issues?
Certainly so. We spoke to the national spokesperson of Rand Water earlier this morning with regards to those areas that are still not being supplied with water. And they said that the issue is, of course, the reservoirs and the water pressure not really making it through the pumps. And they're saying that they're asking residents really at this point to be patient, and saying that at some point the water will return. But for families like the Oosthuizens, the fact that there's no time frame as to when water will return is certainly quite problematic. But let's take a listen to what the spokesperson had to say.
I must say that, yes, in terms of the 54-hour implementation of that augmentation project, it has gone well. But unfortunately, around that time, there was soaring temperatures, that really did not play ball. Immediately after we finished, consumption was very, very, very high. And remember, during the implementation of that project, we had to reduce the flow of water in those pipelines so that our people can be able to work. Remember, it was a mammoth tide. They had to cut that needed a big pipe, they had to weld. So it was a mammoth task. So we had to reduce the flow of water. So in the process, the pipelines were filled with air, and there wasn't much going into our systems. I'm talking about the reservoirs. So that led to us finding it difficult to raise the water levels because the high-lying areas were struggling, whereas the low-lying areas were receiving water. So the project went well. It was a short, I'll say, short pain, but long-term gain because we augmented the raw water which would be purified at our Vereeniging water treatment plant.
No, we hear you. Thank you very much, Silindelo. Now, Dasen, perhaps to catch up with you, what are residents in and around Durban saying about their water situation? Can it be attributed to a long-standing issue? What exactly is happening there?
Well, let me give you some context here about exactly why residents in Durban are having this water problem. So there are 4 aqueducts that service this area, that's the eThekwini region, and one of them sprung a leak. So Umgeni Water, which is responsible for the water provision, had to then rely on a backup water pump, which comes from the Durban Heights Waterworks. But that pump then failed, which is why at the moment Umgeni Water is saying that residents have to endure this for at least 5 weeks. They're going to have to exercise a lot of patience, because most of the areas in the north, as well as areas like Umlazi and Folweni in the south, will have to either have no water supply, an intermittent water supply, or just have water cut off for between 2 and 3 hours a day, which is what they're currently experiencing ever since that pump failed on the 11th of November. So we are in Ntuzuma, which is one of those areas that I mentioned that's currently experiencing this water outage. So I was engaging with residents here, and I have some of them with me now. I'll start with you, Mpumelelo Kigaba. You said that over the past week it's been particularly bad. What has been the impact on you and your community?
We've been facing problems now. We can't have water, and also we have our grannies who have to drink their chronic medication, and also children have to go to school and us going to work. Now we can't do all of those things there because there's no water, and also we have to go fetch water from other sections whereby it's too far, and now our grannies cannot go with us, you see.
Let me ask you this directly then. In the past week, or at least since the 11th of November, how often have you not had water?
Okay, maybe we've had water for like 3 times, maybe in 2 weeks, you see, and there are no water cans being sent to us, and also we getting the councillors to get in and give us water tanks, but then they are not doing anything, you see.
Okay, and let me bring you in, Mbuso Buyisa. Yeah. He mentioned that there haven't been any water tankers here. When was the last time you've seen a water tanker providing water in this area?
It's been like since I've seen the water tank delivering water here. It's been like what, a month? Just last month. Okay, seeing the water tank delivering the water here. Okay. But then the thing is now, we are not based on the councillors because we just recently vote. Okay, we're not blaming them. Okay, they just want to do their job. But then, to our president, I mean, we've got our parents, we've got ourselves, we've got our kids, I mean, to go to school, okay? And water is a main source of a home, I mean, to everybody, I mean. The kitchen, the cooking, and all the stuff, okay? Yeah.
I just want to ask you about the response that you're getting. Are you getting any official word? Is there a communication that you're getting from the municipality, from the councillors, informing you of how long you won't be without water and when you can get water?
Okay, recently what I've heard, I mean, is that they will talk to the municipality, which is from the councillors. Okay, this we just recently vote for. They're going to talk to the municipality, but then what I'm reading in the news, chasing the problem, the issue, I mean, containing water, it seems like they're having a problem with the supplier from Nandatem, okay, which is very close to us, but then we are the same people who are not getting water, and we have to travel to another section, which is very far from Nandatem. Sure. Which is so surprising.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for that. Okay. These are some of the residents that are experiencing that problem. But as I spoke about patience, it seems like this is going to go on for the next few weeks at least. Umgeni Water says that by Tuesday it should have a report from the contractor that is responsible for repairing that water pump. That has to be sent to Johannesburg, and during that report, or in that report that it gets, Umgeni Water will be able to find out exactly what the source of the problem was.
No, Dasen, it's very concerning, but we'll certainly keep up with the both of you. That's reporters Dasen, Thathiah and Silindelo Masikane there, just monitoring the water crisis in these two provinces.